Crisis Radio. This is Webster Talkley, and this week I'm not reporting from Washington, D.C. I am here in Hamburg, Germany. In Hamburg, Germany, to make some documentary film tapes for the Kopp Verlag, K-O-P-P, Kopp Verlag, my German publisher, and these will be available in the near future. So for German speakers over here in Central Europe or anywhere, take a look at Kopp Verlag, and you can follow this. Comments on the WikiLeaks Assange, another chapter on the Obama situation, including the mass strike process now breaking out in Wisconsin and other places, the emergence of a potential opposition against both sellout political parties, which is the imperative of the moment, the question of the world economic depression and what to do about it, and the fourth segment on the question of the Egypt, Tunisia, and related stuff. So let's take a look first of all at Libya. We do want to do justice to Wisconsin, to the mass strike process, to the struggle, in particular to defeat the reactionary Republican assault, the Tea Party fanatic Koch Brigade assault. We want to give attention to that. But from over here, I'm in a better position to tell you some interesting things about Libya, because thanks to Libya, I think we're seeing the true extent of the all-out attack, the general assault on virtually every front, unleashed by Wall Street and their CIA operatives on the modern state and on modern civilization, because I think it is no less. Back in November, December, we saw this really unusual, unprecedented maneuver with Assange and WikiLeaks, obviously supported from the U.S. and British intelligence communities, releasing all of these low-level to medium-level pieces of diplomatic cables and so forth, things that were, of course, widely known, things that mainly targeted the CIA enemies list. And, of course, the targets, we've seen them, Putin, Berlusconi, Karzai, the president of Argentina, and so on down the line. This seemed to indicate, as it occurred to me at the time, that we were getting ready for a big offensive of the Anglo-American intelligence community against the rest of the world. And that is what we now have. We have a stunning, breathtaking assault on nation-state around the world and on world civilization. It is the Götterdämmerung, the twilight of the gods for the Anglo-Americans. It's the, as I said in Russia Today, it's a va-banque attack. It's shoot the works, double, triple, quadruple, or nothing. Use all your assets right now within the framework of the world economic depression, the breakdown crisis, disintegration crisis of the imperialist world economy, and then hoping to use this youth bulge as your shock troops and trying to organize them around the figure of Assange and these ideologies of the anonymous group, the questions of transparency, anti-hierarchy. It is, of course, the classical Oedipal rebellion, the anti-authoritarian rebellion, the revolt against civilization inspired by the crackpot ideas of Jean-Jacques Rousseau, which, of course, led to the reign of terror in the French Revolution. Rousseau, the ideologue of the guillotine, if you will, and we're seeing it happen now. With transparency, of course, another famous CIA slogan, transparency, transparency. So this attack is now unfolding, and it is essential that every nation in the world and patriotic citizens, people who care about the tremendous work of 10 to 12,000 years of developing the civilization we have, the Anglo-American imperialists, somewhat like Hitler in the bunker, are looking around and saying, well, we will drag down everything with us. Another good slogan, après nous le déluge, after us the flood. But today it's really after us, world civilization goes into the abyss. Essentially, the ideology in Washington and London is that world civilization will either be controlled by the Anglo-Americans or it will no longer exist. And I think we can see this fairly clearly now in the case of Libya. We can make a few more general comments, but now let's look at the Libyan situation specifically. In Libya, we have had now, in the past week to 10 days, two phases of a destabilization, as far as we can see from the outside. I would always say that everything coming out of Libya needs to be taken with a good dose of skepticism, because we saw the tremendous distortions, the outright lies and provocations peddled by Al Jazeera and the rest of the other world media, the Anglo-American Wurlitzer, during the Egyptian events. But now we have to look at Libya, where the ability to confirm what is being told is far less. We're not exactly sure what's happening, although I'm going to venture to give a synthesis here in just a minute. But at the beginning, it seems like the revolt was started by Anglo-American networks among the usual suspects, the ones we saw in Egypt, the golden youth, the upper middle class, the people who have computers, the people who are interested in the internet, the people who think the U.S. is cool, the people who hate hierarchy, want transparency, would like more economic globalization from which they believe they would benefit. They don't care about the workers and peasants, but they care about the privileged people of the middle and upper middle class who have privileges and want more than somebody like Gaddafi or Mubarak is able to give. So they start with the golden youth, and they start with the Islamists. They start essentially with the Muslim Brotherhood. This evening here in Europe, the TVs are saying Gaddafi is now claiming that Al-Qaeda is the leading, dominating element of the rebellion. This is an interesting propaganda problem for the Anglo-Americans, for Obama, for Panetta, for Hillary Clinton, and so forth. Are you going to oppose the secular dictator, the secular military socialist, pan-Arabist Gaddafi in favor of Al-Qaeda? Now, of course, Al-Qaeda, this is a fiction. We know it, but you get the idea. For the average person, it's something real, and in a certain sense, it's plausible for the average person what Gaddafi is saying in this whole situation. So, are they going to go on, and are they going to support Al-Qaeda taking over Libya? Well, in a certain way they do, because if Al-Qaeda takes over Libya, maybe Gaddafi is really playing into their hands. If Al-Qaeda is taking over Libya, then they have a perfect pretext to invade. Now, I think the first stage, golden youth and Islamists, now that has been overtaken in a country like Libya by this tribal question, these ethnic groups. Now, remember, Rome during most of the Roman Republic and into the Roman Empire was based on tribes, and tribes that is collections of clans with various kinds of ethnic and linguistic and cultural peculiarities. These exist in places like Iraq and elsewhere. We're very lucky in the Western world not to have tribes. Tribes are not good, but they have them there in Libya. Now, the question is, Gaddafi came on the scene, of course, in the late 60s as a radical Nasserist, really, pretending to be Nasser, pretending to be an Arab socialist, pretending to be a modernizer, pretending to be an exponent of pan-Arabism. The most reliable article here I can find is Die Welt, W-E-L-T, Die Welt of Hamburg, today, the 24th of February. The title of the article is, Will Libya Break Apart? Will it divide essentially into two or maybe more parts? The destruction of the nation state. We've just seen it in Sudan, and it's coming to Libya. Back in a minute. Welcome back to World Crisis Radio, reporting tonight from Hamburg, Germany, and I'm asking you to keep up with the situation at tarpley.net. You can also keep up there. You can go through tarpley.net to get my Twitter feed, and I'll have more Twitters this evening and basically every day, apart from days when it's absolutely impossible. There should be at least a couple of Twitters every day in a fast developing situation like this. Before we actually get into the internal details of Libya, let's just look at the general idea. I think a NATO invasion of Libya in the